Welcome, everybody, to the Genesis Mindset. So today we're going to talk to one of my best friends, Greg, so the founder of Thug Beast Nation Universe, to explore his TBN ERC-404 ecosystem built on Arbitrum. So I first met Greg in a meditation center in Korea, and we've been friends ever since. So today he's going to talk about his ecosystem and how it uniquely positions itself as both an NFT and a cryptocurrency, and why this dual functionality could redefine digital ownership and asset utility. So he's going to educate me on ERC 404s and what his NFT collection and what makes his NFT collection unique, and how he's planning to build a metaverse ecosystem around it and how they might benefit the Richard Hart ecosystem. So because we also met in meditation center, we're also going to dive into a little bit of topics around meditation and spirituality. So this is something where hopefully we can have a continued conversation over the coming months. So what's going on, Greg?
Hey, how's it going, Steve?
Good. Yeah, so I don't think I've really ever heard you call me Steve, to be honest. That's weird. It's become like all formalized because we're on YouTube now.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your YouTube channel. You're doing great. It's great to see your YouTube channel grow, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's cool. Like, I've shared with you, obviously I helped you get into Pulse Chain. And it's just been, I wish I'd been more consistent with my channel. There's months where I'm like, I don't do a lot of content. There seems like there's not much to talk about. I've got my niche of Atropa, and there's some of the things that I've spoken to you about. But I think even that, it's one of those things that I find with these sorts of platforms, you just have to be consistent. You might get people who listen to you for a few weeks, then they stop listening to you. So you delivering the same information and the same content is not necessarily a bad thing, because people just follow that sort of stuff, and you're always going to get new people coming through. So yeah, man, I appreciate that. So obviously you've also had some good news today, so let's start with that first. So let's start with some of that good news that let's start with that. So you said you had some good news.
Yeah, so I'm a filmmaker. I do a couple different things in the filmmaking space, and one of them is I'm a film finder. So I try to find movie projects that have like movie stars attached, and then I find the money guys and I put them together, and I'm called an executive producer, an EP for short. And so I had a successful deal today go through. One of my good friends, Chris Dent, who is my EP advisor on my website, bulletproofape.com, which is my cryptocurrency website. He is the one who's headlining this project. He's like the mastermind of the filmmaking world. He worked for DreamWorks. He worked for Scott Rudin, who's super famous in Hollywood. And he's one of my close friends. So I've been trying to help him for years. We originally had Godzilla back in the day, which is a project that I found, and he was trying to find money for that. So that was like $100 million movie. And we recently put together like a $50 million film fund to start bringing projects in. And if you look at my website on my team page, you'll see my lawyer. So my lawyer actually flies out and goes to the White House and hangs out with Donald Trump out there. And so he was putting together some investors with our film fund to start producing movies. So the idea is that we basically can channel these movies into like a major studio. So that's Donald right there. He's our lawyer. So anyways, yeah, today one of my deals went through. I was able to raise $150,000 from my buddy Chris, which is basically the startup money you need to get the ball rolling, which will unlock his $10 million. So it's a $10 million to a $15 million movie. And so I helped him to get the first initial seed funding to start the process. And because of that, the first money in is usually the most valuable. And so I'm getting a whopping 120K commission off that. So that's pretty badass. So that just happened today.
Yeah, man, that's extremely badass. So that's your money, you can do whatever you want with it? That's your like pay?
Yeah, that's my pay as an EP. So I'll be listed on the film Ambuscade as an executive producer. So yeah, so I look for funds for movies. So we have a lineup of films. We have a ton of movies. and we're able to actually, if we get our money for a $50 million film fund, we can actually channel movies directly out of CAA or go to a movie studio. So we can get like the prime top films in all of Hollywood. Chris actually almost bought New Line Cinema. So he's a powerhouse. And if you if you scroll up on that page to Donna Smith is amazing. This woman was the very first female producer at Universal Studios. And if you look at her IMDb page, it is just epic. Like the amount of films that she made is just mind blowing. So she's my production supervisor, producer on my film. She also does the bond. So in order to ensure the money for the investors, you have to get the film bonded so they're not going to lose their money. So she specializes in that. So we've got a dynamite team, and I connected this to my Thug Beast Nation cryptocurrency. So just to show that it's legit, we have a lot of people that are involved in this process. We have award-winning Kiko Nakahara there. She's amazing. She's a DP. She made a film, Tanhaji, a couple years ago that grossed over $60 million. And below that is a very impressive Andy Chang, who has agreed to be my co-director. He, I don't know if you like Marvel films, but he just did the stunt coordinating work. He planned out all the stunts for Shang-Chi, the Marvel film that came out, where, you know, he did the bus scene, where the fight action scene in the bus scene. He worked closely with Jackie Chan for over, 15 years. He was in a bunch of films with Jackie Chan. You'll recognize him in some of Jackie Chan's films. He also does actual fighting in the films himself. So these are all people connected to my film company. So we're going to be making both like action films as well as animation films. So I want to take the NFT character that I've developed here for Bulletproof Ape and turn him into an actual animation film. But to start off with, we're going to just do some promotion on YouTube and get the word out, and hopefully catch this bull run. Right now, the coin itself is like crazy pumpable. If you just buy one coin, it goes for around $125 right now. If you just buy one, it jumps up like $12 to $15 in price after you buy one. So it's very liquid. We actually have 1 million coins, and we're selling. We have 10,000 up for sale. We just listed on OpenSea. So it's pretty exciting project.
So, okay, so with the film, so first of all, what's the film that you got the deal with? What's that all about?
So that's not my project. So that I'm part of a network with all of these people. So they all have their own independent careers in Hollywood, and we have different roles that, we help each other out. And as a Finder EP, I'm connected to all of them in helping find money for their personal projects. They all have their own projects, So yeah, there's my Uniswap page. So I have 10,000 listed there. So there's a lot of coins, and there's a lot of NFTs. And I'm also going to start a kids book with these guys. So that's coming up next.
Okay, so one thing at a time. So I need to even just try and build the story up in my own mind. So
that's my summary. That's my summary.
Cool. Yeah. So how do these relate to what are the NFTs? First of all, what are the NFTs got to do with the movie that you've just signed up today?
Well, that's basically that solidifies my relationship with Chris Dent. So we're both going to be listed now on professional, film as co-EPs. Like he's the main producer and I'm an EP, and that will basically show the validity of my project, that we are actually a real film company and that we actually make big budget movies that are badass. And that's kind of the first step of recognition once people realize like, hey, this was developed by an actual filmmaker who is actually making movies. I've produced 2 feature films. One is a documentary and one is, a drama, a gangster film. So I think it's important to realize like NFTs aren't just something that you can buy and sell and trade, but there's a company behind it, and that company is important. And really, like the success of a company, you don't want to buy into something that's just a rug pull, right? And so you see that I actually am making a film with Chris, like where our company is actually real, and he's listed on my webpage here as my EP advisor. You can see like we're actually making movies. He's interested in the crypto space, but he doesn't know that much about it. So what I'm trying to do is branch the crypto space with like a real world company so we can actually get more involved in the digital, creation of apps, of games, of learning how this cryptocurrency market works. Because eventually I think it's all going to become integrated. Things are going to be sold and bought on the blockchain like we can't understand it yet because the technology is still developing.
Yeah. So again, I guess okay. So what's the connection between like this and the movie and your team? I still don't.
So basically, Chris and I are now legitimately partners on a project. So
Yes, I understand that.
that's legitimate. All my other partners I have worked with before, but we're more like in the planning stage. So we haven't actually developed a feature film yet together. We've been working on it and working in that direction, but Chris and I now have a project we've worked on together. And eventually I want to make an animation film based on this character.
Okay. All right. So basically with this team, you're going to try to start to make movies with, and you're going to try and have some kind of overlap between this NFT character that you want to start promoting and eventually bring these 2 worlds together.
Exactly. So
Okay.
you have a crypto space and then you have a real world business, and they come together to promote this whole world of, Thug Beast Nation.
Cool. Yeah, and some of the things that we've spoken about with Thug Beast Nation is obviously, I mean, there's a few different types of ticker symbols here, but there's some pulse chain. I think the one that we have in the thumbnails got hex. So you're trying to incorporate a bunch of different like blockchains and networks. What made you select Arbitrum?
So basically, I'm new to crypto development, and I found a developer who is more familiar with Arbitrum working with Uniswap. So mainly it had to do with Uniswap and uploading our NFTs onto Uniswap. And so the compatibility with Arbitrum was already available so that I could use the Uniswap platform, which is not just Uniswap, I'm sorry, the platform you're on right now.
OpenSea.
Yeah, OpenSea, which is right now it's the most popular NFT platform. But so I wanted to be on the most popular NFT platform, which is the main reason. I did ask him if he could develop NFTs on the Pulse chain, but he didn't have that knowledge. So I have actually multiple characters within my books and my movies, so that are based on this universe, the Thug Beast Nation universe. So I plan on launching different characters inside the different blockchains, so that I'm actually promoting cryptocurrency in the story itself. So there's different cryptocurrencies that are being collected. The whole story idea is about as a game, and in the game you collecting cryptocurrency. And so that way I can advertise different cryptocurrencies in the actual children's books.
Yeah, that was one thing that I really liked about it, the concept behind it of actually, in a way, educating kids about cryptocurrency, because I mean, one way or another, they're going to have to learn about this sort of stuff. So, as we probably both know, they don't really teach us about finance well, they don't teach us finance that we want to know. I mean, when I was in primary school, all I learned was how to use like a bank, like one of the, and we just have like these 4 major banks in Australia. And I only learned about that, didn't learn anything about investing, didn't learn anything about money, just learned how to use a bank. So it's almost just like, you know, the
Right.
education system funnels you into like the one
Yeah.
way that they want to keep you. So it's really cool to actually start to broaden kids' minds because, yeah, I mean, even people our age, like they still don't know about crypto. And like, you know, this Trump pump, and I'm sharing this Trump pump with the new Trump token that came out yesterday that Donald Trump launched. And I shared this with like some of my friends and cousins. I mean, the ones that you would have met in Thailand. And they're just like, you know, when's the rug pull? And I'm just like, when's the magic carpet ride? More like it, baby. So, yeah, it's cool. It's cool to educate. So okay, so ERC's 404. So what makes ERC 404s like what makes ERC 404s like different to the other kinds of NFTs? Is there something that differentiates them, or?
I mean, it's far superior. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's obvious. I mean, you'd be stupid to buy an NFT. If you buy an ERC 404, you could sell it on a blockchain. You don't have to wait for someone to come along and buy your NFT, which could never happen. If you want to offload your NFT, you just send it to Uniswap. Boom, you're done in seconds. It's like a no-brainer. So you can either offload it as a cryptocurrency, or you can, you know, sell it for a higher price as an NFT, because the NFT actually has cryptocurrency inside of it. So you can sell it for a higher price based on its tradability as, you know, a limited, because NFTs are limited. So each one has traits. So the different traits of the NFT make different NFTs more valuable. So some NFTs you could sell for a higher price, but you want to sell all of the NFTs for a higher price because of arbitrage. So you can make a killing on arbitrage selling ERC 404s. Because if I'm selling my NFTs for cheaper than what the price of the coin is going for, you can buy the NFT, send it to Uniswap, and boom, you can, like a bot, you can take the difference in price. You just made the money off the arbitrage in seconds. And that could be just because like someone is not aware that the price on Uniswap has soared to $10,000 in a week. Like my coin is crazy pumpable. It literally goes up every time one person buys it. It goes up like 10 to 20 bucks.
Yeah, because the liquidity is so thin, so it moves up and down really fast. It's the whole like the hex dynamic. So
exactly.
This reminds me a lot of we got a guy who Richard Hart's brother, Shane Schuler, and he's got a token called Rob, and he does a lot of NFTs on Pulse Chain. I should have.
Wow.
Yeah, when you're ready to launch on Pulse Chain, I'll set you up with Shane Schuler. So
cool.
that's Richard Hart's brother. So yeah, I'll set you up with him because this actually reminds me a lot of his kind of his style, to be honest, in a way as well.
That's what I want to do next. I have a cat character, and I want to bring up my cat character and sell
on the
him.
Pulse Chains.
Yeah, I already have over 300 drawing attributes for that cat character. I've already developed them.
Cool, man. Yeah. And so now, obviously, so that'll be something that's going to come in the future. You've also you've started writing these books, which is really cool. So these kids' books, have you started? I think you were also doing the illustrations for them as well. Have you finished all the have you?
So the illustrations are taking me longer than I was hoping, but I'm still in the process. So I haven't completed one book yet, but I'm still working on it right now.
Okay, cool. So really doing a lot. And some of the other things that we've spoken about, I mean, you know, one thing, it's really good to kind of just take, I mean, this is something that Richard Hart does, right? He will have these big visions, and then he just attacks it one step at a time in a particular kind of order. So what's the next move for Thug Beast Nation?
So you can look on my website, Bulletproof Ape. We have a whole breakdown on the homepage. If you scroll down, we actually show, you know, what our roadmap is. And our roadmap is actually based off of our token. So on our token, we have 4 colors, and each color represents a different phase of the bull market. So right there. So you can see phase 1, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. So in quarter 1, you know, we launched the coin. It was during the beginning phase of the bull. So right now it's all about advertising the coin, raising awareness, getting ready to launch the books. Phase 2 is launching the books, getting into that space. Phase 3 would be doing a film, and phase 4 would be launching a video game. And they're all described, all the steps right there. Phase 1, quarter 2, and it's all based on the 4 years of the Bitcoin bull cycle.
So the Q1 is it's a Q is a year, basically.
Yeah, basically. It's not what's going to happen per year. It's what's going to happen in the Bitcoin cycle.
Okay, gotcha. Because I was going to say, bro, that's really optimistic to be able to do all this in a year. So awesome. Okay, cool. So at the minute you're in Q1.
At the minute we're in Q1 right now, so we're just getting out there, doing more advertising, trying to get more on more YouTube channels, trying to launch it, get people's awareness up. I think the books will help quite a lot, but I think once we get the movie out, it will really go gangbusters and really spike the price of the coin way up. This coin can easily go up to $60,000, no problem. And right now it's at $124.
Okay, yeah, and I guess obviously I'm one of the first YouTube channels, and if anyone here knows anyone that would be interested in talking to Greg as well, reach out to me or reach out to Greg on Twitter. I've left all his contact details in the description. So if anyone here knows anyone, I can talk to Shane Schuler, Richard Hart's one and only brother. He might be able to help you in some way or another. And maybe you guys, he doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he might be able to connect you with some people that you can talk to. So at least, you can start getting the ball rolling. So
I definitely would like a developer that's familiar with the Pulse chain, because I want to launch my cat NFT on the Pulse.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. Shane Schuler, Richard's only brother, is definitely someone that you need to talk to. So, okay, cool. Is there anything I feel like today it's just about kind of opening people's minds up to this universe that you're building out. Is there anything that you kind of want to go into about the uniqueness of it, or anything that you want to mention that I might not have asked yet?
Yeah, I want to, but I kind of want to go back to what we were talking about financials. And this is kind of what we were talking about Atropa. And I really liked your images that you're putting out there, that Atropa was its own kind of ecosystem universe. And that's what my story about all these different characters who exist within Thug Beast Nation, my cat character, my ape character, they all exist in this kind of universe that's going to be described. Like Bitcoin is going to be like the sky. You're going to have like the BTC sky. You're going to have like the Ethereum forest in my story. So the whole world is created off of cryptocurrency. And this whole concept that you were talking about with Atropa, how it all is interconnected, is exactly what we're talking about.
And I mean, obviously, I'm not surprised that it's something that you would resonate with, because I think the whole general community of the Atropa community really resonates with this idea of what would you say, like wholeness, like holistic, like it's a different. This image here was something from one of the Telegram groups, and so if we're talking about liquidity pools, so just for example, the new Trump coin is like, it's like this hot coin that's just come up, and it has maybe literally one liquidity. Well, actually, there's 5 liquidity pools that it's connected with, but they're all Trump with Solana, but they'll just be on different different front ends.
Okay.
This with the Atropa has, this here is an actual diagram of the liquidity web. So this is all the different interconnections of. So this is just with PulseX version 1, PulseX version 2. The pools where both are Atropa is 1,966, and pools where either is Atropa is 10,387. So you see, this is just one of the tokens within the Atropa ecosystem. So you multiply that by 300 tokens, it forms this whole new logic, this tensor logic. The Trump token is a linear logic, linear math. It goes in one way, it comes out another way. the beautiful thing about Pulse Chain is that all these are interconnected, so it's going up, but then it's like filtering and feeding everything else, and everything's moving. So like this different way of looking at interlinked liquidity webs could be something that could be like really beneficial for the ecosystem that you're trying to build, particularly if you're also going to have like cross chain, because it's something where there's a token on Pulse Chain called Bullseye, and they're probably one of the first, or maybe not the first, but they've started to do like cross-chain integration. So their token is on multiple different chains. So they come from Pulse Chain and they're trying to attract people to Pulse Chain. But how do you do that? You got to dip your toes into all the other blockchains as well. So and I think the way that you're doing that is a really interesting way, because it's not just through a token. You're actually doing it through a series of different kinds of platforms as well. Like you're doing it through movies, you're doing it through books, and through a game as well. So you're building out this whole universe, this metaverse. So, I mean, as a concept, it's a huge concept. It's a big undertaking, but it's like an amazing concept. And I think, I'm really happy that you're at least. I mean, today was like a big progression for you. So it looks like things are starting to move in the right direction, which is really cool.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Check it out. I found my cat character here, so I don't know if you could see that guy. So this is just him without his shirt, so that's one of the
Okay, cool. That's your cat character. Nice.
We're starting with that.
So, nice. So that's going to be the Pulse Chain cat?
Yeah, the Pulse Chain cat.
All right, nice. So that one you're hoping to
NFT, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, cool. Is there anything else that you want to talk about with TBN?
Yeah, I would. There's some interesting things about an ERC that people don't really realize. One, I just started to talk about is the opportunities of arbitrage. So if you're a trader and you want to look for those differences in the price of an NFT, you have to realize, like, a lot of people that buy NFTs might not really know much about ERC-404s or like how to sell coins, with Uniswap or, on the blockchain. So you have a leg up on these types of people where you can actually buy the NFT, send it to your wallet. So you can send it as a coin. And when it shows up in your wallet, it shows up as a cryptocurrency coin. And then you can just, offload it there. Once the price gets super, super high for NFTs, then what you can start to do is just kind of acquire bits and pieces of the coin to collect one coin. So you need one full coin in order to send the NFT into your OpenSea wallet. So once you send the coins into OpenSea, then it appears as an NFT. It will not appear as an NFT in your wallet. It will appear as a coin in your wallet. So that's one very kind of interesting thing. So that makes it very fungible. It's easy to trade. So it's not, like an NFT, which is, non-fungible. You can actually trade my NFT, and you can't do that with any other NFTs. So why would you buy an NFT that you can't actually sell? And I think, this is one of the problems that people have. And the very fact that you can just sell it so easily just makes it a no-brainer. Like, hey, I can just sell these coins like that. It's not actually an NFT. It's actually a coin. So my ticker symbol for Thug Beast Nation is TBN, which is an acronym for Thug Beast Nation. So my coin is TBN. We have a logo for that, but I imagine the NFTs would become more popular first than the actual logo. But yeah, it's pretty cool, that aspect of it, which I think is very unique. That this whole, kind of mint, mechanic of actually buying a full NFT, sending it. So you have this interesting token dynamic, which is pretty awesome. What else? I'm not sure if you have a full NFT and then you sell you send it to Uniswap and you sell half your coins, but then you decide to buy back half the coins. So now you have another full one. And if you send that NFT back to your, platform where you're going to sell the NFT, if it would be the same NFT. So I'm not sure if that's what would happen. If you sold part of your NFT, you kind of have destroyed that NFT. So that's an interesting thing about my coin. So if you want to keep that NFT, you need to just sell it as an NFT. So that's very kind of unique.
Okay.
So
unlike normal NFTs, this has another layer to it, which basically makes it sellable as a token.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's extremely sellable. So it's very liquid. If you buy part of a coin, you don't want to buy the whole thing. Let's say you just bought $50. It's called fractionalization. So you're just buying a fraction of the NFT. So then if you go back and you buy the full amount later on and add to it, then you'd have the full NFT. So you actually have to own one TBN token to have the NFT. It's called fractional ownership.
And what's all this stuff here? Aura, background, ear, what's all this all about?
Hold on a second. I lost the video feed here. Let's see. I'm looking. Where'd you go? What are you showing?
So when I click on these NFTs and it shows like a zoomed up version, and then it's got the description, it's got the traits, and then it says aura, background, ear, eyes, head. So for example, head color is number 5, 19%.
Okay, there we are. Yeah, so those are all just called traits. And so different traits on NFTs give different values. So this is something that, you being a trader wouldn't know about. So for NFTs, these are what gives the different NFTs value. So I made a ton of traits, but some of them are extremely rare. So if you have a very rare trait, that would boost the price of your NFT way up. And so people that trade NFTs really study the traits and how much.
What do the traits actually do though? What is it's like a rare, is it just like an arbitrary number?
Yeah, it's like buying a rare coin. Like the older the coin is, the more value it has. So if you buy, an NFT with a very rare trait, it's going to have a much higher value. So for example, I made 1 million tokens, and I only have so many female bunny rabbits in the background. And it's very hard to find a female bunny rabbit in the background because very rare trait.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's what the percentages represent. Okay, that makes sense. So the percentage, so this 1%, so this background 22, 1% means that 1% of these 10,000 tokens will have this kind of a background.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So actually, the colored backgrounds are extremely rare because I made over 100 of these, landscape backgrounds. But to find a colored background, it's actually even more rare than a landscape background.
Cool, gotcha, understood.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I didn't know that, so that's really cool. So I just want to address this here just quickly. Thanks, big dog.
Nice.
Trump has officially kicked off the bull run. Any thoughts, guys? I did see official Elon do 2,400x in one day, which makes me feel that the bull run is now on. I did see official Elon.
Wow.
When was this just recent?
Official Elon.
Was this just recent, Eddie? The 2,400x, or is this something like maybe in the last few months, maybe like Kekius? Plus the fact that Trump is multiple billions of market cap. So I mean, what have you seen? Have you seen this Trump official launch, Greg?
No, I haven't.
Oh, bro, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I heard about it. I heard about it today. I didn't find it on the blockchain. I didn't look for it. I mean, it's gonna be rugged. I mean, I don't want to buy that coin. It's gonna be rugged.
I mean, who knows, man? Like, I mean, okay, it is gonna get rugged, yeah, but like at the moment, people are just just throwing money at it. It's basically just like this vortex of liquidity. I mean, even Pulse Chains dipped today because yesterday people bridged out. I think it was Jasu who said this actually. Or was it you, Jasu, who said this? Yes, on last night's stream, that basically 1.7 million liquidity was bridged out of Pulse Chain and onto Solana. So people are just running into this thing, and that token has like, it's like 400 to 500 million in liquidity. So some people are saying, oh, it's the end of the bull market. Some people are saying this is really just, I mean, we're already in it, but this is really like a sign of things to come. How just curious, what do you actually think about it?
I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I think that I've heard about Trump coin for a while. Watched interviews of one of his sons talking about it. I know that he likes to do things that make money. You know, he did NFTs and he made a lot of money. He said he made several million off NFTs. So I think this is kind of just an extension of him developing another business to make money off of.
More than likely, man. But just the I think what's really interesting about it, and I'd actually really love to read it because I thought this is a brilliant comment from my mate Eddie here, who's also one of my meditation buddies. So if you don't mind, Eddie, I'm going to read these out. He said, I think Trump will be the coin that just keeps pumping because the retail is here. So that's why we're in the kind of retail bull run now. So XRP was the gateway, but they're all here now. So all these stupid coins will pump more than you think now. So XRP at all-time highs means all people are in profit and they'll hold. Then they would jump into other tokens. So you need to switch your brain to, you basically need to switch your brain to like dumb mode. Now it's just like, the alpha for crypto now is like, buy now, think later. Before, you want to do all your research and, okay, am I in the right ecosystems and I'm going to position myself correctly? Now it's just like, the alpha is just buy it. Like, I mean, if you just, I mean, even the Trump coin, I was like, man, this is ridiculous. And it's not much, but it's still something. I would have been 3x, but when I saw it, I was 4x on the position. But I was like, no, I'm not doing this because I don't like chasing green candles. But it's really what it represents is, what's brilliant about it is that it's just before Trump gets in. He's going to announce the whole Bitcoin reserve. He's bringing eyes into cryptocurrency in a way that no president has ever done. Getting rid of the SEC, like it's just so mega bullish. We need retail here to really like push things along, and this is really like, this is going to bring. I mean, I think Trump's Twitter's got nearly like 1 billion followers or something, or like, I don't know, 100 million followers or something insane. So it's wild. And now Eddie's saying as well that the official Elon and Solana started at 100K and got to 240 million. So, but Jasu here is saying that it's a scam. It's a deck screener scam. So these are the things you got to kind of look out for. But either way, who knows? So this is the problem with crypto now, because that one probably is a scam, because now somebody's done this and it's the official Trump. And now other people are going to say, oh, the official Elon Musk. And the next one will be like, I don't know, who are the other guys in his political party, Vivekananda Swamy or something like this? Or
so is there proof that it's actually his coin? Like, has he made it?
Yeah, he tweeted it out. And then there was speculation about whether or not it was a scam or not. He actually tweeted out and said, this is my token. And then it's like, is this a scam? But then his son also tweeted about it like earlier today. So it's like, okay, this seems pretty legit. Like, by now, surely it would have been picked up that it's a scam. Don't buy it. But just the way that it came out of nowhere, I was just really surprised, really surprised. So, but we have to give props to. I saw someone talking. I saw a little clip on Twitter of some streamer talking about how there's a guy in the Pulse Chain community. His name is Moon King, and Moon King is just like, he's an absolute meme coin goat. He's an OG meme coiner. He's like a multi-millionaire from Shiba Inu, and he's on Pulse Chain. And this guy said that this streamer said that this guy Moon King pretty much kickstarted this whole like fervor around Trump and cryptocurrencies when he asked him at the Mar-a-Lago, or it was either the Mar-a-Lago or somewhere like this. He asked him what his opinion of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin was, and this really like kickstarted Trump's pretty much from that moment, like Trump really started to pay more attention to crypto. So I was like, man, the Moon King, he's just you do not want to fade this guy. Because he follows meme coins, he gets a lot of flack on Pulse Chain. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that someone from Pulse Chain is like really, we're making moves over here, put it that way. So
nice.
Official Baron as well. So yeah, man, it's exciting times. It's exciting times to be in cryptocurrency. In my opinion, I really feel like this is going to be one of the best bull runs that we're ever going to be a part of. I think this is going to be better than last bull run. I don't know if it's going to be better than the one prior to that, but I think it's going to be better than, if you're in the right stuff. That's going to be the hard thing. If you're in the right stuff, I think this is going to be the best bull run ever for cryptocurrency, because you can't, I don't think that you can, the amount of factors of like tick, 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 all systems go is like, it just can't get any more bullish than what it is. The president of the United States of goddamn America has launched his own freaking meme coin. Like, you can't get more bullish than that.
I'm just scared being an American that he's going to dump, tons of money from the government into his own coin to pump it.
Hey, man. Well, if he does, so but this is the thing. This is the thing, though. Like, the whole financial system is just a giant Ponzi anyway. Like, you guys are never going to pay off like the tens of trillions, or is it hundreds of trillions, whatever it is. You're never, ever, 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 ever going to pay it off. It's a sinking ship. So yeah, just keep printing money and pumping our bags. Like, who gives a shit? That's why this whole like, oh, we can't afford to put money into this, but we can afford to put money into this. It makes no sense. Just print more money. Like, you're already in debt by like tens and tens of trillions. Like, in my opinion, like, this is kind of like, America are the biggest scammers, because you guys are just keep printing money, and then the rest of us who are like trying to do things right and keep like Australia tries to maintain like an equilibrium of like zero balance. I'm like, you're doing it wrong, Australia. Just keep printing money. Like, who gives a shit? Just keep going further and further in debt, and just keep your economy full of all this money.
It's fiat currency that's the scam. It's fiat currency. That's the scam right there.
It is the scam. Exactly. But that obviously all started, and this is not like a finger pointing. It's just like, China does it as well. So that's why I'm just like, we're doing it wrong. Australia is doing it wrong. Forget trying to keep like no debt. Who cares? Just give me debt and just keep pumping all this fake money into the economy. And then obviously, of course, you got inflation and stuff. But things are just ridiculous. So hang on, I'll address this one as well here. So they said Trump was a hack and a scam too. Look at the liquidity, unreal. I will have a bullshit bag that I only throw at dumb coins from now on. Also, bear market will be minus 80% on all markets. Bro, probably be more than minus 80%. That's a thing. I see this as being like the most epic run, but then also could possibly be one of the most filthiest dumps as well. So, but anyway, thanks for the super chats, Eddie. I appreciate that. Damn, bro. The big dog just throwing money around like it's nothing.
Hey, look at you.
Yeah, man. So sorry for that little side thing, but I definitely wanted to address those.
I want to talk to you more about that kind of stuff, because you're very knowledgeable, and I really like talking. You're the one who got me into the Pulse chain. I mean, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gotten in.
Yeah, and it's a real pity. It's a thing with it's a thing with all of this stuff, right? Like, all my friends that I got into Pulse Chain and Hex, I think one of the things that you really have to do is stay fluid and stay dynamic and stay adaptable. And that's something that I've continued to do with Pulse Chain. So,
and that's impressive.
I had to, because the bags were shit. The Richard Hart core tickers were doing shit, and they're still below sacrifice rate. So you were better off not sacrificing at this particular point, in which case I did. But I've converted those sacrifice funds into other assets across the blockchain, and now I'm way up on my sacrifice funds. So there's a lot of people who are like down on on Pulse Chain, as in like, they're just like emotionally down and like, yeah, this blockchain sucks. And I'm just like, man, if you just detach from your attachment to your core tickers and just explore the blockchain. There's so much abundance on this chain. It's not funny. Like the whole Atropa ecosystem, it's just this continuously expanding out web with all these new opportunities that are being presented. We've spoken about dysnomia, the Lao tokens. That was something that I was dipping my toes in.
I like your charts where you compare the different coins and you show the different prices and how, the Atropa ecosystem is really pumping compared to other charts. Those are pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, man. It's all it's all moving up, and I think if there's anything that I can impress on you by the end of this is, please buy something in Atropa, please.
I'm going to get my $8,000 in my finder's fee, so that's coming pretty soon. So I'll be putting that into Atropa there.
Yeah, definitely, man. So
I have an interesting story about Hex. Can I tell you real quick? Side story?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when I was developing this coin, I had one major MetaMask wallet, and I was kind of giving some access to my developer. So I moved all my Pulse, my Pulse X and my Hex coins to a different wallet. And my P Hex didn't show up. And I told you about that. And so I take the contract address, I put it in the MetaMask wallet, and it would say, this is the contract address for eHex. And it wouldn't recognize. So for a year, a long ass time. Basically what happened is my 500-day stake on Hex just graduated. So I just got my 300,000 coins, from staking for 500 days. So I had a lot of T-shares on that. So that was awesome. So I went to go collect those. So I did that. And I was like, man, I got to find these coins. And so I kept trying to, enter the address, and it, kept bouncing back. This address is not recognized, the contract address for PHEX. And I was like, why is this happening? What's going on? So I was with my other buddy who's big into the Pulse chain. So we were both sitting there trying to figure it out. And I came up with an idea, which is all right, well, I know they're in this wallet. So what if I tried to stake them? So then I went to go, even though I couldn't see them, I went to go stake them, and boom, there they were. They showed up on that, GoPulse website, one of the connected websites that I was connected to. They showed up there, and there was a little icon. It had the contract address, but then there was a little MetaMask icon. It said, add this, PHEX to your wallet, to your MetaMask wallet. I hit that, and now I can finally see my PHEX tokens. Thank God. I was where are these coins? Now they're only worth 2,000, but back in the day they were worth a lot more. So.
Well, step one, get the hell off MetaMask. That's step one. Step two, just download Rabby.io. That's way better. It'll pretty much automatically be in there as well, and Rabby's a lot faster to use, and MetaMask is it's all buggy to tech now. So get off MetaMask. But yeah, man, I mean, even with the hexes now, there's things with Ethereum hex that I don't think anyone can see. And I think this is a good time to maybe we can start expanding out into the mindset kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that I try to emulate successful mindsets, and I'm by no means would I say I'm successful or anything like this yet. I'm definitely 100 times more successful now than I was, say, 10 years ago, thanks to the mindset that I've slowly started to develop through meditation. But one of the key mindsets is having an open mind, having an adaptable mindset. So even with Hex, all the people who love Hex and they only talk about Hex, nothing against those guys, but they're not able to see the opportunities that I'm seeing on Pulse Chain, thanks to having an open mind. So with the Atropa ecosystem, there's a token on there. It's called HotX. And so now I've figured out that if you bridge your Ethereum Hex from Ethereum onto Pulse Chain, you buy this HotX token, and basically the HotX token, because it's bonded with the Atropa ecosystem, is getting dragged up in price with the Atropa ecosystem. So people are buying it. So it's causing the token to go up. Wow. It's not moving up heaps, but it's basically, it's outpacing the amount of yield that you would get from staking your Ethereum Hex on Ethereum. It's outpacing it. So it's an awesome thing, and like I was really shocked. I was like, wow, people are actually listening to all these videos, which is really cool. There's like 1,200 wallet holders, which is pretty massive for an Atropa token. Like a lot of the new tokens won't, they might get like 500 to 1,000, but the fact that this had like 1,200 in such a short period of time, I was like, awesome. The Hex people are really starting to listen, and people are starting to like expand their mindset out, because we really need that as a blockchain. So yeah. About mindset. I mean, my boy here, Eddie, as well. Interestingly enough, I actually met him. So he's telling you to buy some teddy bear and PDI.
Yeah.
And so not financial advice, but I would definitely, I mean, teddy bear is pretty much the key meme in the Atropa ecosystem. So I would definitely listen to Eddie's advice here. So what does he say here? Your mate could get some teddy bear under 100 million market cap. 100 billion is possible, in my opinion, and I completely 100% agree with that. So 100 million, below 100 million to 100 billion, that's what's that, 100x? So or is it 1,000x? One of the two. So but yeah, man, like Eddie here as well is one of my meditation buddies. I actually first met him in the same meditation main center that we met. I wonder if you've ever met Eddie as well. Eddie, I don't know if you recognize Greg's face here or not.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, I mean,
he's an icon picture, but it's too small for me to tell.
He won't. Oh, yeah. He might be able to recognize your face. I'm just curious if he. Oh no, what happened? Crap, what happened here? Hang on a second. Do you recognize him, Eddie?
Let's show him my face.
Oh, he knows. He recognizes you. How wild! Yeah. That's cool. I'll have to send you a picture after this. So yeah, man, cool. So obviously he recognizes Greg, one of the bad boys from the main center.
the sinner that I am.
The sinner. So you and me, we're the sinners club in the meditation. So yeah, man, why don't you tell us a little bit about? I mean, we've spoken a lot about meditation. Yeah. What does meditation mean for you? Like, let's just say somebody is like interested in meditation, and like tell them a little bit about your history in meditation. What's meditation been for you? What's your history with meditation?
I mean, for me personally, to be honest, I got into meditation because I was afraid of death.
Sorry, Greg, just have a look at this from Eddie.
Oh, he remembered that. Oh my God.
Oh shit! I think everybody remembers that.
Everyone thinks I failed hard, but actually, like, I had an epic experience in level 4, and that's worth more than me, failing.
Definitely, man. So sorry to cut you off there. So what were you talking about there with your meditation experience? So,
I mean, I got into it because I was afraid of what was going to happen to me after death, But then when I was 16, I had a bad LSD trip at Disneyland that kind of really, shook up my confidence level. So I got really kind of depressed and down after that at 16. And I was looking for answers. I was studying psychology. I was reading tons of books. And, I found that meditation really uplifted me in a way that, my intellect couldn't. So intellectually, I understood how self-esteem worked. I got the principles, but I couldn't bring myself out of this depression. And it was only when I could kind of empty my mind that I could, get into it. And that's kind of the same thing that happened before I went to Korea. I went to Korea because I had, I was going to get married, and I broke up with my fiance, and I got super depressed, like suicidally depressed. I was like, man, this is no good. And I remembered back to the time when I was young and I dealt with that, bad LSD trip. And I was like, meditation really helped me out of my depression at that time. Let me do it again. And so that's why I went to Korea, because we were meditating, 8 hours a day over there?
A lot.
And, yeah, we're meditating a lot. Well. Yeah, action meditation. And so we, we achieved new levels of states of mind that are pretty hard to explain to people that might not understand what this kind of state of mind is, when you can completely let go of your mind and your ego, and it helps you to overcome depression in a way that most people wouldn't understand. And so
Mm.
That's the main reason, you know.
How do you feel? So, even in relation to depression, how do you feel that meditation is? Would you say it's a better tool compared to some of the other things that you would have tried to help you with depression?
I mean, I think it's kind of like, this is not financial advice. Like, technically speaking, meditation isn't a solution for depression, but for me personally, it worked. But I also was studying psychology, and so I also understood what self-acceptance was and where I was failing. So there's two forms of, self-esteem, and one comes from feeling capable, feeling like I can do this, like I can get a job and I can work, or I can do this thing that I want to do and I can be successful at it. So that helps build a healthy ego. The other is, self-acceptance. So if you grew up in an environment where people were picking on you, or your parents, were yelling at you all the time, and you never developed that feeling of self-acceptance or self-love, that's a lot harder to manufacture as far as developing self-esteem. And what I found was, in the state of meditation, you have to accept yourself because you're fully present in the moment. So when you're fully present in the moment, you're actually in a state of self-acceptance. And so that was the key for me to learn, how to meditate deeper and also have a better sense of self-esteem. Because I could force myself to go to work and be like, all right, I know how to make money. I feel confident that I can make money. And, I could force myself to go up to women and be like, all right, I'm not afraid to talk to women, but I still don't know how to accept myself. That
Mm.
that was the real mystery for me. It was almost like a paradox that a puzzle I couldn't solve. It was like, what is self-acceptance? I don't know. I just hate myself. I really hated myself for a long time. And people wouldn't think that looking at me, because I was a young, child model actor. I was very successful. I was in the TV commercial Super Mario Brothers 3. I made 10 grand off of that at 13 years old. I was
Damn.
I was super confident, like I was the best looking kid in school. Nobody thought like, oh, that kid has a self-esteem issue. But inside, I had troubles with my parents. My dad yelled at me all the time and was emotionally abusive, and so it caused me to have this like lack of self-esteem. And I turned to meditation. So in high school on Saturday, I go over to my buddy's house and we'd be meditating 5 hours a day. And then on Sunday, I'd meditate 2 to 3 hours a day. So then Monday, Tuesday, I'd be like, hey, I feel great. But then those negative thoughts would just beat me down, and I'd be like, oh fuck, I need to meditate again. And I did that week after week after week, and I just saw the scientific progress of like, if I meditate, I will feel better. And it was just like a no-brainer. It was like a math formula: 1 + 1 = 2.
Mm.
Meditation equals feeling good.
Mm. Yeah, I think with my own experiences of depression, I definitely want to share this because I think, understanding it logically is like one. It can work for a lot of people. Like where did you go? Hang on a second. Let me bring you back so I can see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it can work for a lot of people. Like wow, at the moment now there's 111 people watching 111 as I bring this up. So it's like I listened to Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, and he had some woman on there that talks about dopamine and what dopamine does. And it was a phenomenal podcast. It's like millions and millions of views. It's brilliant. If I had listened to that 10 years ago, I would be like, okay, awesome. And I'd get to the end of it and be like, okay, well, I understand this, but I'm still totally trapped inside of this way of being, even though I understand it rationally, even though I go and talk to these people, even though I'm reading all these books, even though I'm doing all these exercises, I still keep falling into the same patterns and the same routines. And I could never, ever actually break out of it. And it was only until I started to really meditate and understand what the mind is and then learn how to let that stuff go, that's when things really started to change for me. So like, I've never really explained this on my channel. I mean, I have, but I've never shown it visually. So I think now is like a really good time. So the way that I understand the mind is that our brain is just like a picture world. So this body is like a 5 senses camera, and we take pictures of everything with these 5 senses. So every experience that we have gets stored in the mind and the body. It gets stored in every single cell. So just like Dolly the sheep, you can take a cell, you can recreate a whole entire sheep. So just like that, our parents and our ancestors, all of their lives, all of their stress and their burdens, their pain, their suffering is all stored and compressed in each and every single one of these cells. And so I already have that in my mind. And so that's why now kids that are being born into this world now, quicker and quicker, they're getting anxiety, ADHD, autism. They're getting all these conditions because our minds are already so polluted. Our ancestors' minds already had all this stuff in there, and now that's all in us. So that's like the foundation of our mind. That's like the original sin. So this is the start of our picture world. So then as we go through life, we live this life, everything that we do gets stored in here. So I think I'm living in the world, but I'm living inside of my mind world. So the way that I see the world is, first of all, based on this false conception that, oh, my name is Stephen. I was born in 1986. Everybody calls me Stephen. I'm the middle son of my parents, and I've got an older brother and a younger brother. And that forms a framework of this self. So that's like the start of the falseness. But everything is actually just the universe. But because I'm living inside of this picture world, I can't see that. So inside of this picture world, what I do, where I go to school, primary school, all the experiences I have, whether they're positive, whether they're negative, all get stored in there. So all these experiences I have of like depression in my life, like feeling sad, feeling left out, getting teased, feeling inferior, I'm not as good as that person. All of these things compound in the mind and build up in the mind to create more and more and more depression. And I'm sure that this is something that you can relate to as well. And then as we continue to experience it more, we're taking more of those pictures. We're thinking about that same thing. So we keep nurturing that mind, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. More and more stresses in life. Going to college, going to university, boyfriends, girlfriends, relationships, friends, getting rejected, building up this idea of depression in my mind, something that I can't escape out of. I don't actually know how to let go of it. Some people, yeah, they might get to this point of their life and they didn't have a lot of depression in their life. So they can go and listen to something like Stephen Bartlett, and their mind world basically doesn't have a lot of depression in it. So they can accept what he's saying and they can move on quickly. But for other people like us, it's like something we couldn't actually escape. We felt like we're trapped inside of this thing that I can't actually climb out of. And so the older I get, the more this mind world builds up, the more hardened it gets, the more difficult it gets to break out of. So the meditation that I do and the meditation that you've tried before is to clear away all this stuff from our mind. So as we clear this stuff away, this crap from our mind, as we get rid of all of this stuff. So if I have all that stuff in my mind, my parents had it all and it's in me, and then I give it to my kids, how can I have any peace and freedom when I have all this stuff in my mind? So this meditation method that I love, it's not about just like, okay, I'm just going to breathe and pretend that it's not there. I'm going to learn to how to actually let go of that stuff from my mind. So if I let go of it from my mind gets clearer, more cleaner, and then depression disappears from my mind. So then I get strength, and then I can change. And so even now, it's like the whole point of this YouTube channel is like crypto is a part of it, but it's a testament to show that with the right mindset, you can do anything. So even now, like I'm worth 100 times more than I was 10 years ago. And I believe deep in my heart that if I didn't do meditation, that I would be exactly where I was 10 years ago. I'd just be repeating the same things and just getting by and having the same amount of money in my bank account, being like a negative bitch all the time, like just being the type of person you wouldn't want to be around. So I think, meditation is something where it's like, it's kind of weird because it's this word and people think, kumbaya and, we often joke like, kundalini and chakra and stuff, this kind of stuff. And they're all just words and concepts. But the idea is to master your mind, to come out of that shit that's in your mind and live as your true self, which is it's just God. It's the universe.
Definitely, man. And I wanted to ask you, how do you feel like meditation has kind of changed your trading experience? Because as long as I've known you, you've been trading, whether it was stocks or crypto. And I think that, you've been able to stay much more positive. I was really, really depressed during this kind of Richard Hart bear market. I lost, like 90% of my bags and whatnot. So I was just, getting myself out of that took me a while. I was meditating and that would make me feel better. So, but I noticed you stay proactive. You kept making videos. You're talking about cryptocurrency, and you were a millionaire in the last Bitcoin bull run, and you lost your bags, but now you're coming back. So, how did meditation kind of help you to have this positive mindset?
Yeah. So knowing that stuff is just happening inside of this picture world, inside of this mind world. So yeah, even though too much stuff there. Even though, I mean, that's all the stuff that's in your mind. So even though the condition out there is like, okay, pulse chain is dropping, but it's like being able to objectively observe those emotions and not be in them. Because I also felt those things. Okay, my bags are down, this sucks, but also there's a part in me that knows that what I'm in is very valuable. It has a strong value proposition. It has a strong community. It has strong mathematics. It has a fantastic founder. It has all these things that are ticking the boxes. Everything is ticking the boxes except for the price. So, okay, the price is making me feel like this. In the past, I also would get sucked into that price and go, I feel really depressed. This is shit. Like, this sucks. But instead of feeling that negativity and like projecting that negativity out there, I would transcend that negativity, keep letting it go from my mind, and just continue to try and be grateful. Just at least try. Sometimes I won't be grateful, honestly speaking, but I swear to you, Greg, like even just trying to be grateful, it's almost like the very next day, this opportunity will present itself where it's like, holy shit, how did this happen? It just came out of nowhere. It just came absolutely out of nowhere. So I know as my consciousness continues to connect with the grateful energy, and it says it in all the Bible, the Buddha Sutra, the Quran, like gratitude to God is like to the universe, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I don't care about the name, whatever you want to call it. Gratitude to that this living existence, this wonderful thing we call life, continues to bring opportunities into my life. So even like the Atropa ecosystem, it is in my opinion going to be like the best ecosystem on Pulse Chain. It's already proving to be the best ecosystem on Pulse Chain, and I believe that it's going to be like in the years to come, everyone's going to be like wanting to learn about the Atropa ecosystem. If you're not doing things like the Atropa ecosystem, then you're not doing cryptocurrency. That is how revolutionary I believe it is. And it's not something that because I'm not existing in that, if I existed in that negativity, which I see like so many people on the whole blockchain do, prices are down, they're feeling like this. So they're not like moving beyond it and continuing to work. So I've just been able to like continue to research, follow my heart, and just the synchronicities of like staying grateful, and the synchronicities and opportunities that just appear out of nowhere, that like there's really no other way to describe it, but they just appear out of nowhere. And so having that emotional mastery, and even with trading, like, I built a trading algorithm that at the moment it's up 20% in like 2 months, which is phenomenal. It's a Forex trading algorithm that took me like months and months and months. I would say there's like tens of thousands of hours that have gone into like studying different indicators, data collecting, testing. And in the past, I would have just given up. When something failed, I would just give up. My negative mind would just consume me and go, oh, I'm shit. I'm no good. I can't do this. And I would give up. But I didn't. I kept pushing through. I kept pushing past that mind, because I'm like, well, that idea of like giving up, that started when I was as a child. Something happened and I started to give up. And then because I had nurtured this idea, this thought in my mind accumulated of like, oh, I'm no good. And then in high school, I failed something in math, so I'm no good. See, you're no good. And this story that you have inside of your mind, this self-defeating story, just keeps building up. And it doesn't get any easier as we get older. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, because we keep thinking about it more and more and more. Yeah. So as I've cleared that shit away from my mind, I'm able to like just detach myself from it whenever it comes up, get rid of it from my mind, and just keep moving forward. So that's how it's helped me with trading. And I wouldn't say that I'm like some pro now, but I definitely feel like I'm leaps and bounds of where I was, again, like 5 years ago, because of the higher emotional mastery. And again, not completely like detached, but when price is dipping, my mindset now is like, hell yeah, I'm going to buy. So I look forward to those opportunities. Whereas before, there'd be this fear in me, and it's like, oh God, I need to sell because it's going to keep dumping. But now I'm like, no, this is the smart people see this as opportunity. So that's what I'm going to start to do now. So I'm like clearing away the crap and then reshaping my mind. So it's not just the process of like, again, some people, if they don't have all this crap in their mind, they actually can just read a Warren Buffett book and adopt everything that he says. I cannot. I had to clear away the garbage from my mind first. That's what I had to do. There was no other way for me to do it. So I had to clear that away and then reprogram my mind. So the whole idea of reprogramming your mind, I totally agree with. But if the false mind is too strong, you got to get rid of that to find the true mind. That's really the key thing that I think is missing in all this self-development, all this mindset stuff that is like the mega alpha that is also going to be like the Atropa ecosystem in the future. If you're not doing this, if you're not clearing your mind first, then you're getting left behind, because basically you're trying to build a house on top of a garbage tip. You want to build it on a clean foundation. The soil is nice and flat. The foundation is solid. You build a house on it. That's how you do it. So that's kind of, that's my little rant about the meditation and the mindset.
That's very cool, man. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I like that.
And I think a lot of that also is it's also a logical thing. So there's, just logically speaking, there's things that we have to do as well. So obviously if you're not in tune with it, if you're like doing other things and then you come along maybe once every month to see the price, then you're not connected with the flow of what's happening on Pulse Chain. So the knowledge is not there in your mind. So you're like, oh, all these prices, all you see is the price without seeing all the information. So that's also the other thing. So that it's like a two-pronged thing. Clear your mind, but also keep learning. It's like clear and learn. It's not just like a one or the other. That's why I think that was one thing that I was really stuck with on the past. And we've had a lot of these kinds of discussions where I was just like a clearing your mind maxi. It's like, no, I don't want to learn anything. You're just going to clear my mind and that's going to be the solution. But it's not. It's the same as just meditation is not the solution. Like meditation is good, but if you don't take care of your body, everything falls apart. If you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're not exercising, it's like, well, there's no point because your body's not functioning properly. So yeah, it's like doing both.
Yeah, there's a Zen saying like, once you get enlightened, you still have to take out the trash. Like people think that, if you only focus on meditation and truth, you don't have to take care of any worldly responsibilities, but that's not true.
Yeah, man, 100%. There was someone, I want to go through some of these comments as well, but there was someone who asked yesterday about Raja Yoga. I think it was Jesu here. He was asking in last night's stream, he was asking, you would know about Raja Yoga, right?
I've done Raja Yoga. I belong to a group in San Jose.
He was asking me if I had read a book about Raja Yoga from Swami Vivekananda or something like this.
I've been to Swami Vivekananda's temple in India. Yeah.
Why don't you share a little bit about that? What is it like? I don't remember what his question was about Raja Yoga, but yeah, maybe if you can share something about that.
I became aware of him, Vivekananda. He's a disciple of Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna was kind of a rebel, and so I really liked his book. He didn't like follow the standard protocol, and he was a big worshiper of the mother goddess. So he
Hindu?
did his own, the Hindu mother goddess, and so he did his own practice, and he would actually have inner visions of the mother goddess. And I think to become enlightened, he had to kind of break through this image of the mother goddess, this picture of the mother goddess, and detach from the image of it in order to go to the universe mind, truth. So that's what happened to him. And Vivekananda was a very intellectual, smart dude who was like a college student. And he came to him with a lot of questions. And basically Ramakrishna said, do you want to know what the truth is, or do you want to know what the truth is with your mind? So Ramakrishna started to Vivekananda started to realize that Ramakrishna was trying to point something out to him. So he kind of opened up his mind. And then I guess like Ramakrishna knew he was ready, and somehow Ramakrishna just enlightened Vivekananda in his mind up, and he saw the truth. And once that happened, he became like, he switched from just being an intellectual to being a follower of truth. But Raja Yoga is very interesting. There's a lot of different types of techniques.
Just quickly, sorry,
Yeah,
before
yeah,
you dive into that principle, I think is like, that's like a universally applicable principle. This idea of like just being open.
yeah,
There was a part of his mind that was like fixated on this concept in his mind, in his thoughts of like, yeah, this is the truth, but that's
right.
here, this concept of truth, but
Exactly,
that's not the truth. It's just a concept. So being open and like letting go, and
exactly.
being open.
And I also like the word be willing. So you have to be willing to try something new. You know,
Mm.
this willingness is really important. So I think when people think about meditation, they have like some fixed idea like about it, whether they saw something on a talk show or they saw some hippie guy and they're like, oh, that meditation is for hippies. Like, we don't want to do that. Like, what is that stuff?
Right.
You know, and so you have to be willing to let go of that idea. I think for me it was easier because both my parents were into meditation since an early age, and so I grew up with them meditating, so I never had a question or never had a concept that it was weird. Like, for me, that never entered my mind.
Right. So you were born into it in a way.
In a way, yeah.
Raja Yoga, is that the one where they wear all the white clothes?
Well, there's different groups. I mean, in India, there's millions of groups.
Uh,
So the Vivekananda people don't wear all white robes, but I mean, monks wear yellow robes in India. But there's different forms. I belong to this Raja Yoga group that was pretty interesting. It's all about, Raja means king, so it's the
means
king's
what?
highway. King.
King.
So Raja
Okay.
Yoga translates to the king's highway. So
Mhm.
basically, it just means a very direct route to get back to enlightenment. You know, the king's highway, meaning you're going towards God to understand God realization. But
Mm.
there's different paths have different like outer traditions and even different techniques. But ultimately, it's an inner form of meditation where you believe that you can become one with God by focusing on God inside, and that's ultimately what the simple definition of what Raja Yoga is.
Mm. What's been the most like? I mean, I know what the answer is, but yeah, just for the audience, like, what's your favorite meditation method? What is something that you always gravitate back to?
So you know the answer to this. I love the sound meditation. So sound meditation is one aspect of Raja Yoga. So there's different techniques in Raja Yoga, but sound is this idea that so God has different like manifestations of energy, and when you go inside and you meditate, you try to focus on different things. So some people focus on their breath and breathing. Some people focus, on their third eye. Some people repeat a mantra. Some people just focus on their aura or their energy or different chakras, the heart chakra, or there's different techniques. Some people get really intricate with like hand mudras or like rolling your tongue back. But I found that the sound meditation, it's a continuous thing that I can hear, that I can meditate on. And through that silence of listening to the sound that exists in silence, through that continuous focus, I found, a deeper relationship with the universe energetically. So I think you can kind of become aware of the universe through your consciousness, but it appears in a couple different ways. So you can see light through your, inner vision. You can hear this divine sound through your inner hearing. They also call it intrinsic hearing in Buddhist scriptures. And then you can feel sensations. You can feel divine sensations like around your head or your consciousness. So your consciousness is aware of these kind of godlike sensations, and like they call the third eye the extra sense. It's like the sixth sense. to have this ability to perceive the invisible. So we all live in the physical world and exist as physical entities, and we don't really realize that there's a spiritual universe, but the spiritual universe is overlapped over the physical universe. So most people don't perceive the spiritual universe. They think it's separate. But basically, if you can perceive the spiritual universe, you realize they both exist simultaneously. In order to perceive that spiritual universe, you have to open up one of your spiritual senses, which is either, the eye of your consciousness, expanding your consciousness, or through inner hearing, or through sensing your third eye or your crown chakra. And through this moment-to-moment awareness, God always exists in the moment. The universe exists here and now. The past is nothing but pictures. The future is nothing but, we're imagining pictures. What do we want in the future? It's all imagined pictures. They don't exist yet. So we have these false pictures in our past and in our present. And the only thing that's really real is right here in the moment. So through this moment-to-moment consciousness, through learning how to stay present without any thoughts, you develop a direct connection with the universe that's so powerful that you realize nothing else exists except for the universe, and that your own thoughts are just like ripples in a pond. They're just on the surface. They don't really have any substance because they're always changing. But what's the one constant? The one constant is the moment. The one constant is your consciousness inside the moment. And so to connect to those two things, it's like a doorway. And all these different yoga systems in India and all the different Zen Buddhist traditions, they all have similar techniques that all kind of focus your mind into this truth. The thing that I like, about subtraction meditation is it's the fastest path towards instant enlightenment that I've found. Like, when you really practice the technique of subtracting your false thoughts and then realizing what remains, then you see, the universe remains. And then your mind experiences instant enlightenment. I've never experienced anything like that before, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. I think one thing that's really different about yours and my experience is I don't come from a meditation background, and you come from a lot of meditation experiences. And so I found one meditation that I really like, and I've stuck with it because it seems to, it's definitely getting me all the results. There's so many questions I want to ask, but
I like this comment. Left House Crypto Arts, die before you die. So
yeah. I want to see what from someone who knows lots of different kinds of meditation methods and concepts about truth. Like, they all talk about this same thing, do they not?
They do, yeah.
Yeah. Even the meditation teacher that I follow, it's like it's the same concept. It's the same. What is John in the Bible talks about having a renewed mind every day. How do you do that? If you have a simple mind, you can have a renewed mind every day. But if your mind is complicated and you get up and it's like, I got to go work today. It's like 9 to 5. I'm running a business, or maybe it's 9 to 10. I'm running a business, and then I've got all these people and all these meetings. It's very difficult to have a renewed mind every single day because your mind is so complex. So how can you do that? Well, okay, just saying it, just die in the mind. It's like, okay, well, or just let go. But how do you actually do it? So having a practical method that you can actually let go, that's the real key. So yeah, I wanted to highlight this particular comment as well, because I just thought, they all just talk about the same thing, right? They're all just different ways of getting to the same destination. So
totally. I like that. Have you ever heard of this book, The Inner Game of Tennis?
I haven't.
So it's interesting. It talks about the two different states of mind. So when you're learning tennis, there's all sorts of different things that you can learn, like how to hold the racket a certain way, how to swing a certain way. So you can focus on these different individual parts, but your mind has to put them all together in order to play. Like when you're playing tennis, you can't be thinking, I have to hold the racket this way. And then if you do, you're going to miss the ball.
Yeah, 100%.
So you actually have to focus on the ball. So the ball in tennis is kind of like the moment in meditation. So when you focus on the moment, you're not thinking about how am I holding the racket? How am I doing this technique? Because the technique is kind of just a way to kind of get you to this point where you're not any thoughts at all, where you're just in the moment. And then in that moment, you're trying to develop your relationship with the universe, where you're letting go of your false self in order to realize the true mind, your empty mind. And in that empty mind, through practice, you begin to, have results. But it takes time, like anything.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you as well. So with your meditation, so you mentioned a lot of like internal things, like, I feel like you were mentioning all these feelings and sensations in your body and in your mind. How does it change your relationship, or does it change your relationship to the world? And if so, how?
Yeah, I mean, it makes your experience much more beautiful. I mean, it's almost like you're stepping into a new reality, into a new dimension. It's like if some like magician came up to you and said, "Hey, here's a door. If you go through this door, you're still going to be living the same life, but everything's going to be like amazing. It's just going to be like so much better. But you have to have faith and go through the door. If you don't go through the door, your life will just stay the same. Wouldn't you be curious? Wouldn't you want to know what it was like to go through the door?"
Yeah, and even like, what about things like synchronicities? Does your meditation, like, does it help you achieve these things, or
Yeah, I noticed certain patterns. Like, for example, I just did a meditation retreat in Oregon over Christmas. And every time I do that, I end up with making money, but I'm not working. So it's really interesting because I go there to meditate and I stop working. But when I leave, I have like 10 phone calls where people ordered. So I made $600 and I didn't even check my phone until after I left the meditation center. Then I called all these customers and they're like, "Yeah, we want to buy your stuff. We want to buy your stuff."
Oh, hang on. Sorry, Greg. Sorry.
Today I'm going to share with
Oh,
you.
sugar. I messed up a few things there. Sorry, Greg. Could you were talking about you were getting money, and all these customers were saying, "Yeah, I want to buy stuff," as soon as you come back from like a meditation thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of like this synchronicity of kind of faith. Like, hey, you feel like, oh, I can't take time out of my life to do this thing because I got to work. But then the opposite happens. When I go to meditate for 10 days, boom, I'm getting money in my bank account without even trying.
Dude, we've spoken about that kind of concept a lot. This idea that, like,
it just happened to you when you were in Korea. You got $20,000.
Yeah, I mean I wish you didn't say the money amount, but that's all right. So yeah, the whole idea of manifesting
Sorry, bro.
the whole idea of manifesting the money, but even from the perspective of like, you get stuck in these habit loops of like, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have the time to meditate, and that's when the wheels start falling off the wagon. And then everything just starts to collapse, and you realize like meditation was the thing which was actually the thing which gave you the catalyst to have that kind of energy to be doing the kind of things that you were doing. So as soon as you start to stop and think that you don't need it anymore, the wheels start falling off the wagon. So just maintaining the consistency of that practice and like just creating that space, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, is like, even myself is like, I mean, I run a meditation center, and for many years I would not meditate every single day because I would just be like, no, I'm too busy. I'll be guiding, but I'm doing other things on my computer. I'm like trying to research or study or what, like my mind is just so buzzing with energy that I want to use that energy. But it's like,
sorry to interrupt, but that's a question I wanted to ask you. What do you find the differences now that you're a teacher than before when you were just a student? Like, how do you view meditation now? Do you have a different view?
Honestly speaking, the reason why I wanted to be someone who teaches meditation was because I wanted to become more enlightened myself. So it was for very self-serving purposes. Like that was really at the core of it, honestly speaking. Of course, I wanted to help people, but I wanted to really help myself first so that I can truly help people. Like my deepest desire is to help people. But if I can't even take care of myself, how the hell am I going to help anybody else? So seeing how being in service of others has completely transformed my mind and allowed me to go even deeper into getting rid of my own self-centered habits, my own negativities, because this shit's deep, man. My negativity is deep. Like it's so deep, and I really have to pay attention to it. It can be like it's not a day-to-day thing anymore. It was honestly like a 99.9% of my days kind of thing. Now it's more like a 1% of my year kind of thing, but it goes deep. So I really have to like be vigilant. But the way that I see meditation now I wouldn't say that I've shifted the way that I see meditation, but the way that these manifestations and these synchronicities happen as a consequence of me just constantly putting my own desires aside and just serving others and serving the world is like, it's a blessing that I can't really put into words. I'll be perfectly honest with you. So
that's cool though.
Yeah. I am going to have to leave very shortly because I do have one more class at the end, but I wanted to, two sides of the brain. One side is to try and make it safe. The other side is trying to morph everything at small times. Yeah, this is definitely a phenomena. I wanted to share this because this was something I was listening to at the gym yesterday, Neville Goddard. And, you know, we talk about manifestation, but even for the rationalist, the rational mind, when I heard this, like this was like, whoa, this is the coolest thing on manifestation that I've ever heard, even though I know it's true. But I mean, I'm an architect, so I'm a male, I'm a deep rationalist, and you also know how intellectual I am. So I have to overcome that intellectualism a lot, but it appeals to my mind as well. So when I heard this, I was like, I have to share this. So I'm gonna share this as like a closing thing. We'll kind of close on this. So let's have a listen to what old mate Neville Goddard's saying here.
Cool.
Today I'm going to share with you the profound science of manifestation that has been proven in our laboratories. Our research has uncovered something remarkable about human consciousness. When you focus your attention on something...
What's up?
Steve, you should hit your mute button when you play a video so you don't have that double echo.
I will. Just, yeah, lucky you're here because I did this the other day, bro. And then I started talking for like half an hour and everyone's in the chat's like, you're muted. They stuck around for half an hour. I was like, oh my God. All right, so I'm going to mute myself and keep playing. Sorry.
Something specific. You activate neural networks that literally reshape your brain's architecture. But here's what's fascinating. This reshaping isn't limited to your physical brain. Think about the last time you intensely desired something. Our studies show that in that moment, you were generating electromagnetic fields that extended far beyond your physical body. These fields interact with the quantum fabric of reality itself.
Pretty epic, right? And so then he goes on to say that basically people like this have all these kinds of experiences and it's an internal thing, but the transformation of your internal reality ends up reshaping the whole outer reality as well. And it makes total sense. I mean, from the enlightenments that we've had, we know that there is just one mind. So it makes total sense that, yeah, when this self disappears, this energy that's trapped inside of here disappears and my energy expands out into the one mind, then of course, like you're in tune with reality. And so you become the master of yourself. You become the master of the universe. You become He-Man.
That's awesome. Can I do one shout out to myself?
Please. Yeah.
I just wrote a book on meditation. It's up on Amazon. It's called Ghost Mind, a Midnight Memoir. So please check it out. It's all about my experience with LSD and how that led me to look for meditation and how I found what I call God. And I just describe the whole process and try to kind of inspire people to see like a realistic, version of what it looks like to get into meditation and to really do it, and then to find the actual, that's it right there, Ghost Mine. So that's part 1. Part 2 is coming soon, and part 3 is in the works as well.
Is it on Kindle?
I'm working on getting it on Kindle right now. It's not on Kindle, so I got to figure that out.
Okay. 222 pages. Nice.
Yeah.
222.
222.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get this book, bro. I'm gonna have to get it and read it. I think
Good.
I don't ship to Australia.
I'm pretty sure it does.
All right, I'm gonna have to look into it. It's probably gonna be like super expensive to ship to Australia, like most things.
Well, I think they'll just print it in Australia. They'll print it in Australia.
Oh,
it's print on demand. Print on demand. Yeah.
Ah, okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, there you go. So a good shout out for you there. So if anyone's interested in diving a little bit more into Greg's story, so there we go. One of Greg's new stories. So all his links are in his description. And for you, Greg, a present for you. Eddie here saying teddy bear's on a nice dip right now, by the way.
Yeah, all right, I'll get some teddy bear.
So you're gonna have to get some teddy bear. Oh shit, man, my life. So
let's give a shout out to Richard Hart. Thanks for creating the ecosystem, man.
Yeah, man. Of course. Yeah. Thanks to Richard Hart. Thanks to I mean, it'll be great when you build your NFT system out and the ecosystem expands out onto Pulse Chain as well, man. So
I want to say one kind of funny thing about Richard Hart that I think would be positive, because I know a lot of people, got kind of bummed out about his ecosystem, but like talking about how our human mind always kind of just wants to serve ourselves. Like even when we go to meditate or become a meditation teacher, we're just trying to fulfill something inside ourselves in some way, shape, or form, right? And the one thing that always gave me faith, no matter what happened in Richard Hart, is I knew that he wanted to be the greatest guy in crypto ever. He wanted to be the genius behind the greatest crypto ever. And that always gave me faith in Richard Hart. So.
And that's also part of my thesis behind this as well, which also gives me faith. And I don't think I shared the tweet with you, but he did a tweet around about Christmas time where he was like, there's lots of bad guys that are after me and they're really angry, but there's nothing that they can do about it. I'm safer than I've ever been. I'm bulletproof. And he said something along that, like, I'm butchering what he said, but basically he was saying there's higher forces at work here and nothing is going to stop an idea whose time has come. And I was just like, bro, it blew me away because, these higher forces that he's talking about, I don't know if he's religious, I don't know if he's spiritual, but these higher forces that he's talking about is the same things that we talk about. He's calling it higher forces. I might call it universe. You might call it God, whatever. It's exactly the same thing, right? And so even for him, he'll be having these synchronicities, these moments, these like the flow of the world is just, it's like, in the Bible when it talks about Moses parting the seas. Mm-hmm. I don't think Moses went to the sea and was just like, hey, sea, go like this. It probably just would have been the right time where whatever that ocean was, it was a dry season for the first time in history and there was no ocean there. And they just described that to Moses parting the seas. But it also was because of Moses, but it wasn't because Moses had some magical power. It's just because Moses and God were one at that moment that just the flow of reality worked in Moses' favor because he was living the righteous life. He was doing things in service of God, in service of the people. And that's why, again, like Pulse Chain for me is like, we're going to win. We're going to win. And I know it's kind of like egocentric for me to say this, but just because like I'm here because I found this, because this has come into my reality, I'm like, it's going to win. It's going to win because like I'm trying to do things that are good for the world. So he's doing things that are good for the world. Our intentions align. So the darkness is here. There's lots of things that we have to overcome, but we won't be defeated in the end. That's how I really feel. That's why the prices, again, I'm just like, it doesn't affect me. It really, really doesn't affect me. So that was a really good ending. So
very cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Greg. We'll do this more often. Thanks for pushing me into doing this. I appreciate this, man. We'll definitely do this more. We'll do some more meditation related stuff as TBN starts to develop out. And again, if anyone knows people that, I mean, there's the Tangang community. There's there's Shane Schuler, Richard Hart's brother. Remind me to get you onto him. So he might be able to connect you with people within Pulse Chain. And if anyone here knows anyone, please reach out to me. Please reach out to Greg. Let's really help him build out this ecosystem and help him to grow.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, bro.
All right. Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks, Greg.
Take care.